Fuck. Since my last video, the world's gone to shit. I've been out in days, properly anyway. So yeah, so like everyone, I'm trying to find things to do. And since my last video, I've got a spot right next to my eye there. I can look at it if I do that. I can see it. So I just thought I'd point it out, just so it's really noticeable. Yeah. Well, what is there to say? Basically, been ticking off all the things, all things that I could be doing. That I've been really oddly productive. I think maybe that's what I needed all along. I needed the apocalypse to sort of to spark something in my brain, and all of a sudden I'm sort of getting stuff done. I think. What have I done? I've taken a lot of the shit that's been sitting in this room for years, and I've consolidated it in upstairs in my room. So I've built a flat pack wardrobe. I built a flat pack chest of drawers. I've cobbled together myself a prototype shelf, which I might demonstrate in a later video, depending on how bored I get. I don't actually. I think I've got quite high board. Apparently, import was aborted due to dropped frames. Now, you know, there's a lot of shit going on. I do not need this at this precise moment. If I can get it together, iMovie. Now, hopefully, they'll behave. It did take quite a long time to get its arse in gear, so there is a little bit iffy. Don't know. Anyway, I'll soldier on. That's what I've been doing. Like I said, I've been productive. Oddly, I think that seems to be a theme from people I've spoken to. They're just getting shit done, just buckling down. That's just really noticeable, really bugging me. Anyway, I'll try not to look at it. And one of the things on my list was do a pickups video. And because I've been productive, there are other videos I can do now. I can do really a room tour because I don't have one. It's sort of my bedroom. A bit embarrassing. I'm not that up for showing people my bedroom because it's sort of like, you know, I think people's bedrooms reflect their sort of their sort of it's like the part of themselves that it's like the non-public part of their sort of psyche, so to speak. It's more sort of not subconscious, but do you know what I mean? I'll be basically bearing my soul, and and I'd have to make my bed. And who does that nowadays? There's no point. I just go to bed and then don't make my bed and then get back in it. You know, change it once a year. Yeah. So yeah, been holed up, been really productive. Because of that, I could show you it's basically not a room tour video. It's what I term as a nook, because I've sort of got a corner and I've blocked it in with my new wardrobe, so it's like a nook. And I've sort of cobbled together a shelving system that sort of works and doesn't work, and some of it's usable, some of it's not at all usable, but it's what I've termed, it has a sort of a shantytown modernist aesthetic, and it might make sense if I ever get around to doing this sort of nook tour, but not everything I've got is upstairs, because sort of like that shelf there is basically for all the stuff that I've got that goes with all the systems downstairs. So my Wii games are up there, and then there's a shelf. That shelf there, that TV unit there, it's got Wii games in it. And it's got my 360 and PS3 games because my 360 and PS3 is in the big telly in that room there. So they stand down there. So I'd have to sort of split it between two and edit it out. So I'm not gonna show you. I'm not going to show you walking upstairs or anything like that. I'm not going to show you the internal workings of my house because that's too much. You know, I might invite burglars if anybody's got my address, and it would narrow down the potential perpetrators. I'll just sort of like look through my contacts of people who have my address and people who watch my videos. So one of you fuckers out there would be high on the suspects list. Nobody ever thinks about that when they do room tour videos, do they? No. So it's basically come look at my shit, come and take it if you can. Anyway, no. So yeah, and I did promise a PS2 series of PS2 videos. Like I said, sort of like an A to Z, like one video per letter, so to speak. And yeah, I'm still intending to do that. I mean, that I could. I mean, how long? If we're here for months, no doubt it will get done. So, yeah, and I like I said, I enjoyed those. And I've just noticed actually, I'm wearing the exact same thing as I did in my last video. My beard looked exactly the same, and so is my haircut. And this is about a month later. I'm not just. I haven't just one set of clothes, although I did put this on because I haven't done any washing and I need to, and this is the only one that was clean. But I thought I'd pick up this video. I haven't got much. I've not bought anything in a long time, understandably. I mean, I've been looking on eBay just because, something to do, isn't it? I thought, I keep thinking, shall I buy myself something nice to make myself feel better? And so far, I haven't found anything nice. Maybe one day I will. But generally, yeah, I haven't bought anything for a long time. But anyway, things to talk about. I can't remember what they were, but there might have been. I don't know. Shall I just crack on? Yeah, why not? It's not a massive amount. It's not brilliant quality, but it's sort of interesting. First thing, I'm not convinced anybody will be the slightest bit interested in, even though I did say it was interesting. But I think it's interesting, maybe laugh. Sort of. It's more of like a lesson learned. If you've been watching my videos recently, you might know I went camping. Like I tried to go proper wild camping. In the end, it was a bit of a fudge, and it was sort of half-assed, and basically did one night out of 3, and the other 2 were in a campsite. But we did do like proper night out and sort of shat our pants, but no, not really. But I've been getting into it, and I want to do it properly on my own. I'll do a solo one, but I think that's a bit of a daunting task. But I've been trying to build up some equipment, which means, whatever the weather, I can go out, even if it's freezing cold. I don't think I've got the correct stuff for the really, really low temperatures, but because that costs a fortune. But I know I've been trying to sort of bodge together a certain setup, and I was in a charity shop going back a month or so now, and I was heading straight to all the DVDs, and out the corner of my eye I saw this thing. I thought, I'll have a look at that on the way back, and it was sort of a bit of camping equipment, and I thought that's a really good brand. It's brand new. I think I'll have that, even though it's a bit like impractical. I'll show you what it is. It's a sleeping mat. It's a good brand. It's a good American brand. There's a slight little caveat. Is it caveat? I never know whether the correct use of the word caveat is. No, it's a sort of slight. I had to sort of check myself afterwards, having paid the money. Here you go. It's this fucker. It's called Ridge Rests. The Ridge Rest Solar. Yeah, there you go. Ridge Rest Solar. And as you can see, it's a bit of a big bastard. And if you're going to go wild camping with it, it's like basically hauling around an elephant's leg. So certain impracticalities, and that did enter my thinking. But I thought, no, it's a good brand, and when it comes to insulated things like sleeping mats, they have something called an R rating, and as I understand it, it's to do with sort of their level of insulation that they offer. And I think, like, sort of the really cheap foam mats you'll get in like Decathlon, they're like less than 1 R rating, and this is 3.5, I think. Where is it? It's there somewhere. 3.5 R value. I thought, that's good. I'm having that. I might as well, I mean, it's impractical, yeah, because it's bloody massive, but I'll have it. And I was quite chuffed. I thought, that R rating that's not bad, because I've been looking at these they're sort of entry level sleeping mats, sort of like decent high street level sleeping mats that have a 4.4 R rating, and you can get them for upwards of about 55 quid, 55 quid, and this was £8. Although they're inflatable ones, and they're for actually sleeping on, and this is sort of more of like goes underneath, so you could sleep on it. So I bought it, and I was like really chuffed. But then got on the bus to go to another location. I thought, I'll just take a look at my sleeping mat. I started to read the small print, and it took the edge off my enjoyment tonight, and my chuffedness, if that's even a word, chuffedness, my smugness. Smugness is a word, I know that much, because, and I don't think you'll be able to see this, but certain things made me think, oh. It checked me slightly. Are you going to see that? Where is it? There. Can you read that? Basically, I should have read the small print. There's 2 lots. There's 2 of them, 2 bits of small print. The first one, if I can find it again. The first one says, this product contains chemicals known to the state of California, because I think they're an American company, known to the state of California to cause cancer and birth defects or other reproductive harm. So, basically, if I use it, it could give me cancer, or it could mean that I might have kids with like an ear in the middle of the forehead or something, like they've come from Chernobyl, or other reproductive harm. It would turn me into a Jaffa. I mean, I'm guessing it's like the chemical, but how would that affect? There's no explanations. It's basically this one sort of a disclaimer that's obviously they legally have to put on their thing. And so how would it affect me? How would it affect me in that way? I mean, would I have to sort of grind it up and snort it, or if I laid in it, would all the badness just sort of radiate upwards and into my bollocks, turn me into a Jaffa? I don't know. So suffice to say, I haven't used it yet, and it stayed in its bag. And basically, I thought I could sell it on, but then who's gonna buy that? Who's gonna buy it? Oh, I've gone a bit glowy. Sun's out. Who's gonna buy it? There's no way I could stick this on eBay without highlighting that little beauty. And on top of that, so basically it's worthless. And I could give it away as a present. Or how about a competition prize? Would anybody like it? And they're really cheap, actually. If you go on eBay, they're really cheap. They're a lot cheaper than they should be. And it's probably for precisely this reason. And I even suspect they're illegal in this country because of regulations. Because people criticise regulations, but they do have our best interest at heart. The only people who don't like regulations are the people who aren't making any money. So, also, where is it? There's another one on here somewhere. It's on this other side. It says, notice, this product contains non-flame retardant polyethylene foam. Avoid contact with open flame. So don't sleep on it next to a campfire. So basically, I could sleep on it next to a campfire. I'd go up in flames after I'd sort of basically zapped my bollocks so that I can no longer have kids. giving myself a nasty disease, and then if I can have kids, they'll have like an ear in the middle of their forehead. So I thought it was funny. It just made me laugh, and it's like it's a lesson learned. Put it that way. So don't ever buy a Ridge Rest Solar, or if you want to, read the small print. So let's get rid of that. I thought it's funny, made me laugh, but don't know what to do with it now. It's kind of like I can't. I mean, can I give it back to charity? Probably. Next charity shop purchase. This is again not really game related. This was a relatively recent one. This was sort of before all the shit kicked off. I think it was already in the news. There were already people coming down with it. Streets were already slightly quiet, but people weren't. Nothing was closed. It was all still open. And I went into a charity shop, and I thought, is this totally appropriate? I'm not sure it is, but it's basically I found myself a board game. It's all complete, called Pandemic. I saw it on the shelves and I chuckled to myself. Is this totally the right thing to be buying at this precise moment? And I did. Obviously, I bought it. It was only £3, and you can get them in. You get them in game. I wonder how many people are buying them. Has anyone noticed this weird thing? All these suggested films that pop up on Prime and Netflix of pandemic-related films. Viral pandemic-related films. It's weird. But yeah, I took it up to the counter and I said to them, "Can I buy this, please? I'm not 100% sure it's totally appropriate at this moment in time." And she laughed, and I laughed, and everybody laughed. But yeah, so I might sort of spend a bit of time with this. It's all complete weirdly, but it just made me laugh. I thought it's funny. I've got a weird sense of humour. Pandemic, yeah. And you can get it in game if you want to. It's only about £20. I think I could set it on for about £20, 15, £20, and I'll probably end up doing that. Maybe afterwards, when all this has sort of like died down, people sort of think more about it. They'll be, I don't know why they'd want it. Maybe it will haunt them, and they won't want anything to do with this sort of thing. But I think, can you imagine what it's going to be like when everybody's allowed out on the streets? I can imagine people will go mental. There'll be these sort of weirdly like, I could see people rioting through sort of relief. There'll be street parties like they were on VE Day, something like that. But you imagine, it's going to be weird, isn't it? Up until that point, we can only be responsible, stay safe, and hopefully in the future it will teach people to be more mindful of what they do, more mindful of their actions. That's the only thing we can do, really, isn't there? It's I think that definitely I'm more mindful of what I do to every last minor degree. It's just the whole hand washing thing. It makes and everything else with it. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about that, but right. I don't know how long this video is. It's probably already 20 minutes. I'm going to whiz through a couple of CDs. These all came in. No, 3 of them did. Came in one of those British Heart Foundation 3 for £1 thing. I think some of these came with. I think I bought a shitty DS game for the case, so I could use it with one of my GBA carts. So I don't know what happened to that. I think I already put it in the bag to go back to charity, and the other one came with a PS1 game and a decent case. I think it was one of the Rugrats games, but I'm not interested in that. So again, that's gone back to in the charity bag. So these CDs are all 33p each, apart from the last one. I think this one I probably shouldn't have got because I've already got it, and it's basically like a swap. I'm probably going to give it to my mate. It's a Bombay Bicycle Club, different kind of fix. It's a really, really, really good album. It's a slightly basic indie-ish, but I think they're more creative than that. This lot were one of my favourite bands when I was at university, sort of back in the sort of turn of the century. That's how far back I go. Yeah, can't you tell from the grey in the beard and on the temples? Silver Fox, not quite. Silver badger. I can't think of any other woodland animals. Silver weasel. Yeah, Gomez. This was an album. I remember this being in the shops. It was released when I was at university, and I didn't have enough money to buy it. I'd had their previous two, and I have no idea what it's like. I think they sort of had their heyday when they won the Mercury Prize, and they probably sort of went off the boil after that. They got a song called Shitbag. Actually, Shitbag 9 and Shitbag. Oh, sounds good. I haven't listened to it yet. Now, these two are more... I've said in the past in one of my charity shop, particularly charity shop videos, about how you don't often find things that you've really been on the lookout for. And in these last two CDs, they go against that, because these are two CDs I've been on the lookout for. First one is it's a soundtrack to Where the Wild Things Are. I really like the film, and I would like the Blu-ray, but I also really like the score. It's by Karen O and the Kids, Karen O from the Yeah Yeah Yeahs. I saw front in the Yeah Yeahs. They were supporting LCD Sound System going back a couple of years, and she was amazing. She's like I don't know. I wasn't sure what to think, but she was just spot on. She had the crowd just right there not by the balls. She didn't have the crowd by the balls. I suppose some of us she could have done, but in the palm of her hands. But yeah, there's a cover of it, of a Daniel Johnston song called "Worried Shoes." Look that up. Karen O, "Worried Shoes," or even Daniel Johnston's version, "Worried Shoes." It's such a sad, beautiful little song, but I just like the film in general. It's such an odd, sort of melancholy thing. And then the soundtrack fits it perfectly. And Karen O's a bit of a god. And this one, an album by the best band ever, or one of the best bands ever, one of my favourite bands, LCD Sound System, is an album I didn't have. Their first album, not my favourite of their oeuvre, but they're one of my favourites, so I was always going to have it. It's LCD Sound System. I don't know I'm not sure that it's even got. I think it's self-titled. And the song you might know on here, it's called... It's meant to have 2 discs, actually. Am I missing a disc? No, I'm not. Oh, that's nice. I didn't even know. It's meant to have... it's got a song called Daft Punk Are Playing at My House. That's on this album. But yeah, I saw them live as well. Obviously, being supported by the AES, and they were good. But I think they were slightly pissed off that there was a curfew and they had to cut it off. And I think generally, because it's in a park in London and they had the sort of like sound levels, I think generally their vibe is that they have really high volume. So, they couldn't quite do what they normally do, but great band. One of my faves. Right, films. From Dave Robinson, he's sent me a couple of things in the past. He sent me, what did he send me? He sent me a Christmas present. Sent me a Christmas present. I was gonna, I let my nieces open it up. I thought, because they like opening Christmas presents, and sometimes I'll let them open up the small ones. And I think that was a mistake, because he sent me a penis whistle. And my nieces, what's this? It's a penis whistle. It's in front of the whole family. My little at the time 5-year-old niece opened it up and she goes, "What's this?" A little penis whistle. Dave, that was a mistake, mate. And he sent me Aftershock. It's Chinese. Is it Chinese or is it from Hong Kong? I think it's Chinese. Disaster film about the aftermath or aftershock of an earthquake, clearly. And yeah, I haven't watched it yet. I will be honest, but it's meant to be really good. So I'm really, really chuffed and excited to give it a go. Now, next films, 5, all from charity shops. The first one I'm not really aware of, but I bought it because of the publisher, and I was hoping it might be a good trader. But it was one that I was going to watch anyway. I'm not sure it was ever really something I was ever aware of. I'm trying to think back through the old memory banks. But I've read the back and it looks interesting. It's a film called Turtles Can Fly by the ICA, Institute of Contemporary Arts. And generally, I generally think that these sorts of things might be decent to trade in, but not this one. But it's about a load of kids living on their own in not concentration camp, refugee camp, sort of in between Iraq and Turkey, and where they have to negotiate landmines. Apparently, there are more landmines than people in this particular area, or more landmines than anywhere in the world. And it's a film, but it's meant to be really hard hitting to the point where it's sort of more powerful than a documentary. And this is the main character, and she's sort of, obviously you can see she's got a basket full of landmines. So, by Barman Gabbardi. So I'll give that a go. Yeah, I can't really say much about that, but this one I can. Metropolis by Fritz Lang. This was £1. I've not seen this one. I've seen the anime version of this, which is stunning. But so much of this is from when 1927. So much that has gone on, that has been made since 1927 would be using this as a reference point. You know, I mean, things like iRobot, you know, and lots of films about what's the term? Artificial intelligence, AI. It's basically I'm losing the will to live. No, don't do it yet. Anyway, Metropolis by Fritz Lang. It's a film that a lot of subsequent sci-fi is used as sort of inspiration. Is based on, and it's quite groundbreaking and visually stunning. But I thought it's a Eureka release, and I thought, yeah, I'll have that because it's a decent release of one of these very, very significant films in the big scheme of world cinema. Excuse me. All right, 3 films. These were in a charity shop, and they do 3 for £1. Not a British Heart Foundation, but this was a dog charity. Can't remember what it's called. And 3 films, all again very significant. None of them I've seen actually. But this first one, Distant Voices, Still Lives, about a family in sort of post-war Liverpool, 1950s Liverpool, by a guy called Terence Davies, and it's meant to be one of the best British films I've ever seen. Often on the smaller channels, on Freeview channels. It's BFI. It's another one to look out for. This is ICA. This was BFI. A lot of these will trade in for decent credit. The British Film Institute, but again, meant to be really good. Not seen it. It's about family living in Liverpool post-war. This one is sort of like a. Is it gangster? No, it's not. It's about Italian resistance during Nazi occupation during the war. Rome, Open City. Again, it's an Arrow release, but again, as you can see, it's not open. Like Distant Voices Still Live, it's not open, so I haven't watched it. But again, it's by Roberto Rossellini, who is quite a major name, if anybody knows his other stuff. But yeah, Rome, Open City, again, meant to be really good. And this one is probably a name you might have heard of. This is another one that I had on my Amazon wishlist for donkey's years. I would like the Blu-ray, but it's not really that worth it for this sort of thing. Ikiru, basically about an old Japanese man who's discovers he has a terminal illness, and it sort of changes the way he lives his life. I think it's sort of meditation on the nature of existence. And I didn't just read that off the back of the case. I did actually want to say that, but I use that as to jog my memory of what I wanted to say. But again, another BFI, British Film Institute release, but by Kurosawa. So yeah, and they were all 33p each, and I was really chuffed with those. A computer exchange. It was. I don't often buy. I don't often go into a computer exchange and buy something that I hadn't already sort of known was sort of in their stock lists. But this was an impulse purchase, so to speak. It was something I knew I wanted to buy, but then I saw it down the shelf and I was like, oh, chuffed. And it was only £6. And it's a film called Barry Lyndon by Stanley Kubrick. It's based on a story called Rake's Progress, and I think loosely or somehow related to William Hogarth paintings of the Rake's Progress. I think, I'm not sure, but I watched it BBC4, I think it might have been, and it was stunning. I loved how a lot of the shots visually, the composition is absolutely amazing. Incomparable to lots of films, but a lot of what you see is sort of based on the way it's composed is based on Hogarth paintings. I think the way they're arranged, and it really made me want to sort of have a copy of this on Blu-ray so I could watch it properly and appreciate it. Because at the time it was just a sort of, I think it was a standard definition showing. It wasn't BBC4 then. It might have been something I can't remember now. But anyway, it's basically it's Ryan O'Neill as what's his name? Somebody Barry. Can't remember his first name, but his surname's Barry, and he kills a British officer during the 18th century. Kills a British officer. He's Irish. And he has to go on the run. He ends up joining the army, and it follows his life and how he moves up through society and gets into lots of scrapes. And he's a bit of a womanizer, and anyway, I really, really highly recommend that. Barry Lyndon. Right, games. 4 charity shop purchases. First one was going to be a computer exchange trade-in, but obviously you can't do that now. And I think it would only get me £3 anyway. And by the time I get a chance to trade it in, it'd probably get me even less. FIFA 16, I think it's £3. I think 17 and 18 are probably the only ones that are worth trading in. I think this is only £1, and I think like I said, it would get me 3. Well, at the time it would, but I could play it, but I'm not gonna. This one, I don't know what to say about this. This is one of those. I don't really want to sound sort of like up myself, but often when I'm watching videos, I'll have people will say, "Oh yeah, I saw this. I've never seen this before," so I thought I'd sort of take a punt on it. And quite often I find myself going, "I can't believe you've never seen that before," because often they're games that I've seen loads of times. Which made me think, maybe I spend too much time flicking through sort of shelves full of games. That's probably closest to reality. But this was one of those instances where it wasn't a game that I recognised. I probably should have looked at the details more. I mean, I did, but I thought, I know there are certain exceptions to the rule about certain publishers, and this is a Midas game called G Surfers, and I thought Midas, well, they're garbage generally, aren't they? But this wasn't one I recognised. I think I probably vaguely recognised the name G Surfers. I looked at it, it's clearly like a Wipeout rip-off. But then I read Edge. Apparently Edge thought it was really good. If it's in the game, it can be recreated in the editor. Very impressive. Wildly inventive, an ultra-intuitive track-laying system. Basically, they're talking about it's got a track editor, which I think, as far as people's opinion of these, that's the main appeal for this game, because it looks like a bit of a turkey. But it's faster than any game you've ever played. It's fucking like, it'll like tear your face will go like that if you played it. But yeah. But at the same time, it's totally uncontrollable. I've seen there's one guy who did a video of it, and he basically he says that the game's totally uncontrollable. And from what I've played of it, it's not easy to to not just smack into the walls. But the main draw of this is the level editor, and I think was this £1? I think I probably paid sort of 50p too much. This would probably be, I think it's 50p in Computer Exchange, but it's got a track editor, which I think is the main draw for me. And you know, you can just do crazy stuff with it, funny stuff, and you know, should be worth a laugh. This next game is just an Xbox game that I didn't have in my collection, but I really wanted. It was in my local charity shop, which actually, since it's closed down, I've been past a few times going out to get like essentials from Tesco's. Looked in the window, and they've got loads of really good stuff in the windows. Oh, bastard! So I'm basically going to have to keep on my mettle until they reopen. Be the first in the door to get it because I can see it. There's Star Fox Guard on the Wii U, which I'm not sure was released in an official capacity here. I don't know, but I can pretty much see they've got it, and they've got Mario Galaxy on the Wii. You know, not sort of brilliant stuff, but some decent stuff. And the week previously, I'd sort of been past, and I'd looked in the window and I'd seen this, and I thought, it was a Red Dead Revolver. It's £2 because their games are always £2. And I didn't realise it's actually would set you back a bit more than £2. I thought it was sort of dirt cheap, but no. And I'd like to see the sort of the derivation of the Red Dead series. And I don't think there was anything before this, but you know, it's a really nice copy. All got his business, so yeah. Probably the best charity shop purchase I've made. This will be a trader, or it won't get me much. It's I think this was only about £1. Resident Evil 4 on the GameCube. Yeah, I've got it, so I don't need it. So it'll be a trader. Oh, it's got me. Both discs and the manual. How much did I pay for it? £1. Yeah, I did pay £1. I got it in Cancer Research. Really nice nick, actually. I might see if I can salvage the case, because I think I've probably got worse case ones. And like Barry Lyndon, these last two are both game purchases from Computer Exchange. And like I said, I don't often make impulse game purchases, but these were two games that I knew I was interested in, and I hadn't gone out my way to go to the particular branch. I just gone in a branch, and then I'd seen, I know I'm interested in those, and then the price was good. It's not often the case. You know, you see a game, I'm interested in that. You take it off. The price is a bit high, so you know, you choose not to make the impulse purchase. But in this instance, I did, and I knew they were both worthwhile. First one, it's called Orcs and Elves. It's basically a DS traditional role-playing game. You know, like a dungeon crawler. Very, very, very traditional. As in, you sort of like you navigate 3D dungeons, and you've got like a sword that goes. You hit rats with, you whack them like that, and you can like get magic and stuff. And it looks very, very old school, but that's one of the things I like about it. And it looks a lot of fun. So yeah, and that was £3.50. I thought, well, you know, it's not much of a punt for £3.50, and it's never an expensive game. I've seen it before. It looks like it's like the Scandinavian edition, because it's got Sweden, Denmark, and Norway. That's probably right. They have yellow. That's a yellow one, but it's got English in the manual. So, yeah. It says it's turn-based. It doesn't look turn-based in the gameplay videos, but it says turn-based, so why would I go against what it says on the case? And finally, this is probably my favourite purchase. One of my favourite games from my youth. I think I must have been 15, maybe 14. I think I was 15, 14. My sister had a birthday party. It must have been a significant one, because she didn't have many parties, and I was allowed to. I'm 2.5 years younger than her. I was allowed to hang around and invite some of my friends. Basically, she had all these older friends, and we were like the Herberts in the party, who probably shouldn't have been there, because there was loads of like people getting pissed and stuff and puking up in the hallways. The thing I remember about the party was that me and my mates basically sat in my room all night playing on this game, just sort of solidly until like the early hours when it all sort of like died down. When we emerged and there was like sick down the stairs and stuff. But yeah, so I've got a lot of good memories of this game, and it's basically Road Rash. It's in really nice nick, minus the hanging tab. £8. This has been pretty high on my PS2, on my Mega Drive list because I have the nostalgia attached to it, and it's a good game. I've got the first Road Rash game, but it doesn't. There's certain elements, sort of minor details to it, which means it doesn't quite sort of scratch the itch. And I've tried to trade it in many times, and places won't take it because it doesn't come up on the list. And then the last guy I thought was going to take it, he looked at the cartridge, and it didn't have the little sort of many connectors. He looked at them and it didn't match the other cartridges they have, so he wouldn't take it. I think that's about the fourth time I tried to trade it in, but this is the one I really wanted, and I thought £8, yeah. I think that all the business that's going on at the moment had already kicked off, so I thought, I'll just sort of buy myself this just to make myself feel slightly better. Took it to the counter, and the really nice girl, she's quite cool actually. I've got a bit of a soft spot for her. I think she's Polish, and but that's enough of that. She said to me, you're in luck. The price has gone down, and it was only £6. They just hadn't changed the price label, so even better. And she looked at it. She looked at the thing and it said 1992. And I think did she say, 1992? That's 5 years. 5 years before I was born, or something. I'm like, oh God! And I said to her, 1992. That's 15 years after I was born. And we also went, and there was this little awkward moment where she realised how much older than her I was. But yeah, great game. So there you go. That's all the stuff. Jesus, it's still a long video. There wasn't much to show, but still, with that a little bit at the beginning, it's probably near 45 minutes. Yeah. Dare say I will have a PS2 collection video up, starting with A's and then going on to B's and C's, obviously, because that's how the alphabet goes. And then maybe, if you're lucky, if I can somehow work it so you don't see me bed and all my personal effects. What else have I got up there that I wouldn't want you to see? It just makes me feel slightly vulnerable. No, I can't believe that people. Anyway, maybe I'm sharing too much, but these are trying times. You just want trying times. You want people to know. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'll let you go. Thanks for watching. See you later. Look out for all that. Or not. Cheers.